Hello and welcome to the channel, and welcome today to The Forest of Doom from Tin Man Games. This is a recreation of Ian Livingstone's The Forest of Doom from his Fighting Fantasy series. So this is a book that I actually read when I was very young, and I say read, you kind of play through the book. If anyone's not familiar with Fighting Fantasy, this will make a lot more sense in a minute. Anyone who is familiar with it is probably going to be feeling pretty nostalgic for it. So we're going to jump straight in and make a new game. That's not a new game, that was one where I was testing it. Let's try that again. And we'll restart the book. Yes, I'm sure I want to restart the book. Right, so this is just a basic examination of kind of what Fighting Fantasy is. So for now we're going to skip this. This is where I pick difficulty, so we'll just go on basic mode. I'll skip a lot of this first part just because otherwise it's going to be a whole lot of setup. So now we've actually got to try and roll our stats. So this is going to be my health. So I rolled an 8, and that gives... Right, so we've got a stamina of 20. That's pretty cool. So now we'll roll our skill. And that's going to be... That's a pretty decent skill roll. We were one off being maxed out. And our luck, of course. We're going to need a lot of luck. Oh, great, there we go. Worst luck in the world. Pick a potion. Restore skill points, adds strength, or increases our luck. I think in this case we're going to need that fortune potion at some point. So again, we will carry on and we will begin our adventure. So this is a whole lot of setup again. So rather than sitting here reading you, how many pages is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 pages of this. I'll just skip it through. If you want to read it, then I'll go through it slowly and you can pause it, because I want to kind of save some of my voice so I can actually show you kind of the way you play it as such. So I apologise I'm not going to read all this, but otherwise it'd be a little bit boring at the start for us to just be going through all this. So, right, now we can begin. So we get to Yaztromo's tower. Right, so your walk to Yaztromo takes a little more over half a day, and you arrive at his stone tower, dirty and hungry. As the tower is set back on the edges of Darkwood, some 50 metres from the path you have been following, it is difficult to find. Finally you walk up to find a huge oak door, somewhat relieved to find that it does exist, and that Big Leg has not been speaking wildly in his delirium. A large brass bell and a gong hang from the stone archway. As you ring the bell, a shiver runs down your spine and you realise the loud bong invades a deep silence, which you have not noticed before. There is no sound of birds. My mic's getting in the way of me reading. Excuse me one moment. There we go, that's a bit better. There are no sounds or birds of animals to be heard. You wait anxiously at the door and hear slow footsteps descending the stairs from the tower above. A small wooden slot in the door slides open and 2 eyes appear and examine you. "Well, who are you?" demands a grumpy voice through the door. You answer that you are an adventurer in search of the master mage Yaztromo, intending to purchase magical items. From him to combat the creatures of Darkwood Forest. Oh! Well, come in that case. If you're interested in buying some of my merchandise, you had better come up. I am Yaztromo. He then turns slowly and climbs the stone stairs. Will you? And then this is where it kind of descends into the more game sections part. So during the original Final Fantasy books, whatever choice you had made would depend on the page you turned to. So there is a retro mode that you can put on, which is a little bit more similar to the book, whereas obviously this is a little bit more artified. So it's a bit more animated, whereas the retro version's not quite so much. So we will just follow him. I won't attack him with a sword. That seems like it would be a pretty bad idea. Right, we'll kind of jump through this a little bit more. Again, if you want to read this, you can. So we get to pick what items we want from him. So I'm going to take... I think a healing potion would make a good amount of sense. Yeah. Holy water seems like it'd be pretty good on an adventure. Ring of light sounds too good. Boots of leaping sounds pretty good. Any indication how much gold I've got? I'm not quite sure. Net of entanglement, rope of climbing. We'll take the armband of strength. Sure. Water finding. That might be good. Can we afford the nose filters as well? Sure. I don't... How much more can I actually afford? There doesn't seem to be any sort of... Oh well, we'll take it as... We'll just go with that for now. So, we begin our journey from here. Okay, I think I'll just get through to this bit. I'll actually try and get through to the the main part once we've done that. So this is where we actually properly begin after we've bought our items. So outside in the bright light you notice the dead quietness again. A narrow path leads northwards from the tall grass surrounding Yaztromo's tower to the dense undergrowth of Darkwood forest. In a few strides you are surrounded by dark and tangled forest. Stones and knotted roots seem to hide in the shadows, and you can almost believe that they are turning to trip you up. The light fades quickly and the air becomes moist and unpleasant. Deeper and deeper you go into the gloom. Eventually the path forks on either side of a huge oak tree. Now, I can either turn west or I can turn east. I think in this version we get a map. Yes, we do. So this is what we've uncovered so far, so we can either go east or we can go west. I'm going to go east. The narrow path continues to cut its way through the tangled forest. Strange animal cries and noises echo through the trees. At last the path widens and approximately a metre across. Soon you arrive at a moss-covered wooden signpost, on top of which sits a large crow. The armed signpost reads north and east. Just as you are deciding which way to continue, you hear the words, "Good afternoon." You look up in the direction of the voice and you see the crow looking down at you inquisitively. "Good afternoon," you reply slowly. Feeling a little foolish, the crow speaks again, asking which way you are headed. You reply that you are looking for 2 goblins, small sinewy creatures with brown scaly skin. 1 gold piece will buy my advice, states the crow confidently. Will I pay the crow, ignore the crow and continue north, ignore the crow and carry on eastwards? I will pay the crow. You put the gold piece on top of the signpost and requested by the crow, after which it says, "Go north." You ask the crow why it needs a gold piece and it replies that it needs 30 gold pieces to pay Yaztromo to turn it back into human again. You bid the crow farewell. If you want to go north as advised by the crow, turn to 8. If you would rather continue eastwards, we'll listen to the crow. Walking along the path, you hear footsteps and arguing voices ahead. Do you wish to meet their owners, or would you rather hide in the bushes and let them walk by? I'll let them walk by. As you crouch in the bushes off the path, the voices get louder. 2 pairs of spindly legs in the tattered cloth shuffle past you quickly, kicking up dirt and dust. The voices soon fade away into the distance. You step up on the path again and press onwards, northwards. To the left of the path you notice a large hole in the ground with a diameter of some 3 metres. Walking over the edge of the hole, you see it sloping off into the depths of the earth. Do you wish to walk down it, or would you prefer to continue walking? I will go down the hole. As you descend into the hole, you notice large amounts of slime secreted from some huge creature. Do you wish to climb back out of the hole and continue walking northwards, or do you wish to carry on? Well, I'm kind of looking for some combat now, so we'll head towards the monster. The slope is steep and you slip on the slime, tumbling head over heels down the hole to the bottom. In a large earthen cavern, you jump to your feet and are alarmed to see the shiny tip of a poison barb on the tail end of a huge stingworm coming straight at you. The stingworm is about 5 metres long and has huge yellow segments. But all you care about is protecting yourself from the barb. There is no time to shamble out of the hole. You must draw your sword and fight. Right, so this is how the fight mechanic will now work. So we'll go into a fight, and this is all based on rolls. So it's my skill versus theirs, so I've just done a pretty terrible roll, added my skill to it, and mine was lesser, so he wins. I can now try and throw him a look at it to reduce that damage. There we go, so I took less damage because I got... So I halved the damage a little bit, so... Another roll. Right, so I get that one. It's pretty cool, so we just got to try and get his stamina down to 0. We shall fight again. That's a fairly decent roll. Yes, come on. We're getting... Oh, that's a bad roll. That's bad. Oh, we both miss. Okay, we drew, thankfully. Owned. One more for the win. There we go, and I win. Triumph. So now we carry on. Obviously, if you were to actually die there, that is it. You have to restart. So it's got... I suppose this was like an early permadeath. It's that kind of way to look at it. It's pretty cool. So we'll do a little bit more, and then I think you've pretty much got the idea of what this is all about. You walk around the lifeless bulk of the worm to examine the contents of its lair. There are several skeletons, perhaps those belong to other unfortunate adventurers. By the side of one of them, you find a leather backpack. Inside the backpack you find 4 gold pieces and a small corked bottle containing a colourless liquid. If you wish to drink the contents of the bottle, turn. If you would rather leave the dark cavern and shamble back out to the path. Now, the one thing with Fighting Fantasy that used to be a thing was like cursed items. So other people may be familiar from certain games, but cursed items is something that you could basically put on and you become cursed, and it would actually lock to you. So not everything in this game is good, but I'm going to take the risk and drink the contents. You look at the bottle in your hand and then quickly gulp down its contents. You wait several seconds for some reaction, but nothing happens. However, when you come to pick up your sword, which you had put down in order to pick the backpack, in order to examine the backpack, a surge of confidence runs through your body. The liquid is a potion of weapon skill, which adds 1 point to future dice rolls when computing your own attack strength during combat. Okay. Its effects will last for the next 2 combat encounters. Taking the gold, you scramble out of the earthen cavern to the path above. So, we're now back on the path. At least the trees begin to thin out, and shafts of sunbeams down through the gaps of either side of the path. As the path widens, you see a large cave entrance a few yards back on the right. Do you wish to examine the cave, or do you wish to continue? We will examine the cave, of course. Slowly you appear into the cave and see a huge shape of an ogre walking slowly over to a wicker cage with a bowl of water in his great hand. He is dressed in animal furs and carries a strong stone club on his belt. There appears to be a small creature jumping around inside the cage. You may pick up a rock and throw it at the ogre, rush in and attack the ogre with your sword, or leave the cave. I will rush in and attack. You draw your sword as you enter the cave. The ogre throws down the wooden bowl and lifts up his large club from his belt. He grunts and lopes towards you. So let's give this a bash. No pun intended. You must fight. Well, that's a good roll. Right, so we owned him on that one. We could throw a look at it now and try and make that a crit, but I don't think it's worth it, honestly. We'll just fight on. Another pretty good roll there. Luckily my skill is pretty high, so that's helping. Right, let's test my luck against that. Try and reduce that damage a little bit. Oh, I was unlucky. You take more damage because I failed. Shit. Okay, we'll fight on. That could go either way. Yeah, there we go. We're fine. Again, could go either way. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, here we go. One more and we're done. We've got this. There you go. We win. As the ogre slumps to the ground, the creature in the cage jumps around even more frantically than before. Do you go closer to the creature in the cage or search through the contents of the cave? Let's take a closer look at the creature in the cage. Inside the creature is a small sinewy creature with brown scaly skin jumping up and down. He is a goblin! Round his neck hangs a black shiny rod on a leather cord. Do you wish to unlock the cage? Yes. You unlock the door and step backwards, drawing your sword in case the goblin tries to attack you. He picks up a wooden stool and, waving it in the air, kicks the door open and charges at you screaming. You must fight. Then we shall fight this little goblin. Right, well, he's pretty weak, so I don't think this is going to be much of a problem, honestly. There you go. So, we won. You bend down over the lifeless body of the mad goblin and examine the rod around its neck. The rod is made of ebony and there is a screw head in the one end. You are excited to see the letter G neatly inscribed at the other end of what must be the handle to the dwarfish warhammer. You'll find in your backpack and gain 1 luck. Right, I'm going to end it there. That is actually, technically, the main story of Forest of Doom is you've got to return a dwarven hammer to its kingdom. And I've actually managed to find the first piece. There is a second piece somewhere else in the forest. Now, because this is always constantly, you can miss these things 100 times over. There is plenty of maps probably available on the internet and all this kind of stuff that would actually show you complete maps. Because as I say, this is many years old now. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased that I still managed to find the first one. I can't remember where the second one is, but I knew roughly where that one was. Some memory serves me well every now and then. So that's a little look at the recreation of Ian Livingstone's Forest of Doom. Hopefully you enjoyed this little look at it. If it's something you dig, then I would highly recommend picking it up. To my knowledge, they're going to be making more of them as well, which I'm quite excited about because I used to love these books when I was a kid. So, thank you very much for watching. Leave me a like, comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully, I will see you soon. Bye-bye.